Welcome back. I'm John Triffin here in this Conference USA Tip-Off show. We are talking to UAB women's basketball head coach Randy Norton. Coach, thank you for spending some time with us. Let's talk about your team that you have coming back. What are the expectations this year for UAB?
Well, as we tell our players every single year, our expectations are the same. We want to win championships in the classroom, on the court, out in the community, and we challenge all of our players to be the best they can. And every single day we're competing for a championship in everything that we do, and we feel like when you do that, the championships will take care of themselves.
This is your 10th season at the helm at UAB. Every season is unique. It is different. This year you have a good core of players coming back, but also a ton of newcomers. How does that challenge you as a head coach?
Well, first of all, the last 2 years, we feel like we've been playing catch-up with COVID. 2 years ago, we had the youngest team in the conference and the fourth youngest in the country. And with the COVID years, we've been playing against a lot older players. We've battled injuries. But this year, I feel like this is the most competitive, deepest roster that we've had in my 10 years here at UAB. We're bringing in 3 kids out of the portal. We've got 2 kids that are coming out of prep school, and then we've got 2 real freshmen. So it's really the most unique roster that we've had since I've been here.
Nice. All right, can we break down the roster and talk about your starting 5 and key contributors you expect this season?
Well, let's talk about the kids that returned. You know, Margaret Whitley is coming back for her COVID year, so it's her 5th year. She's a 1,000-point scorer. She ranks 9th currently in three-point field goals made. In the last 2 years, she's averaged 15 points. Our other senior is actually a 6th-year player, Lindsey Robson. She was a grad transfer last year from Wisconsin Green Bay, averaged almost 10 points a game there, was a 2-year starter. But unfortunately, she was injured last summer, and so she missed last season. So she's coming back for her 6th year, and she just brings grit and toughness and leadership. So we're excited to have her back. We've got Emily Klazak, who's a sophomore. She had a breakout season last year where she averaged 12 points in conference play. Kylie Schneringer's back. Destiny McGee's back. Both were starters for us. Maddie Walsh has had a really great summer. So we're really excited about the kids coming back. Also, Maria Roders was a starter last year. She averaged 7.5 points a game. Just really athletic 4-5 man for us. So with what we have coming in, with the kids that we have returning, we're really excited about our team.
With 8 newcomers coming in, what has the dynamic been like in practice, getting everyone acclimated and the chemistry on the floor?
I would say competitive. You know, with the rule changes now where we can start workouts with them in the summer, it really paid dividends for our team with 8 new kids. And so starting in the summer and the preseason in the fall, and now we're into our 20-hour segment where we're having our normal practice sessions, it's just been great to see the competitiveness with all 15 players. Every single day, there's different players that step up. So as a staff, we're at a point now, we know our players, which was really a blessing to have them in the summer and the preseason. But now we feel like we know our players. We're ready to play somebody else. But really like where we're at today, just from a competitive standpoint, from a leadership standpoint, and from a chemistry standpoint.
And then one thing also that helped your team chemistry was your team retreat. I understand you have a retreat every season, but this year was a little unique. Tell us about it.
Well, one of the things we've done the last 5 or 6 years, every fall before the season gets going, we'll take our kids. We've taken them to Gatlinburg in the mountains and taken them zip lining. We've taken them to the beach and rented a big house. We've brought in motivational speakers, and we really try to work hard at building the team chemistry where we can peel back the layers and really get to know one another. Well, this year we thought, let's really do something different. So we took them up to Utah, Alabama, out in the middle of nowhere. They stayed in a bunkhouse. The coaches were in a barn, and it was led by rangers, guys that had served 15 to 20 tours fighting for our country. And so they actually led it. And what they do is they put the team in uncomfortable situations to see who our leaders are, to see where we're at mentally and physically. And there's no doubt about it that it paid dividends for us. And I feel like when we got on the bus to come home from there, we were a much closer, tougher team. And it was really unique to just see the growth of our team just in a short weekend.
That is a really cool experience. Was there anything about that trip that surprised you as the head coach?
Yeah, there was a couple situations where you saw that nobody got left behind. There were situations where some kids were extremely uncomfortable. For example, we had to get in boats. I shouldn't say we. The players were in two boats that were they were set up to fail. And the instructor said that we're the first team that's never tipped the boat over and didn't sink. And he said that we were the best group that they've had come through there. Another example was we were on the high ropes, is what they call them, and we had a player that was just really, really afraid of heights. And everybody had made it across, and she didn't want to go. She wanted to quit and come back down. A teammate went back over and said, "We're not leaving anybody behind," and she encouraged her and motivated her, and we got everybody across that high rope. So, we talk about shared experiences. That's how you grow, whether it's your family or your team. And the more shared experiences you go through, the more trust you gain, and the more you grow closer together. And there's no doubt about it. I felt like we came home a lot closer from that weekend.
That is a very cool experience. All right, let's dig into your schedule a little bit. Tell us about your schedule, how you start the season, and some key games you're looking forward to.
Well, we've got a close scrimmage a week from Saturday up at Mississippi State. We've got a great trip over to the Bahamas with LSU and George Mason. So we've got a competitive schedule put together. We've got some good testers out there. We're going to travel over to Indiana and play Valpo out of the Missouri Valley. So we've got some good testers. Again, we put our schedule together where hopefully we can look at a lot of players, have some testers in there, but at the end of the day, we want to be ready to go for Conference USA and go compete for a championship.
Randy Norton, women's basketball coach at UAB. It sounds like you guys are ready to go. Looking forward to seeing you this season.
We are. We're ready to go, John.
All right, appreciate your time. Stay with us on this Conference USA Tip-Off show. The champs will be in the house. UAB men's team. We'll talk to them coming up next. Welcome back to the Conference USA Tip-Off Show. I'm John Schriffen, joined by UAB men's basketball head coach Andy Kennedy. The champs are in the house. Coach Kennedy, thanks for spending some time with us. What has this offseason been like for you?
It's been hectic, like in most all off seasons. When you get through the year, then you immediately get into recruiting with the transfer portal the way it is. Recruiting now lingers on well into the summer as you're trying to build your roster. And then you get an opportunity to start practice. The old days, back when I played, everything keyed around October 15th, but we've been working out since early June. We've got a pretty good understanding of who we are and our path towards success, and now we're anxious to have the opportunity to get on the floor here soon.
You are looking to go back to the big dance for back-to-back years for the first time since 04-06 when UAB went 3 years in a row. What kind of pressure does that bring, and what kind of experience did your guys gain from getting to the big dance?
Well, we welcome expectations here. You know, I believe pressure is a privilege. Our guys had an opportunity to taste success last year. We're returning 4 of our top 6 performers off last year's 27-win team, 6 of our top 9. And for us to go and have the opportunity to cut down the nets in Frisco and be the Conference USA champions, then to have the opportunity to get back to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2015 at UAB, it just whetted the appetite for these guys that have returned. They understand now the path by which they need to play in order for us to have the opportunity to get back to that stage. We then brought in a number of guys that wanted to experience the NCAA tournament, wanted to be a part of a team that has an opportunity to compete for a conference championship. So we've got an eclectic mix, the old with the new, and we've had great leadership from the guys that have returned, and I know they're excited about getting this season started soon.
All right, let's break down the roster you have coming back and some of the new guys. And it all really starts with the reigning Conference USA Player of the Year, Jordan Walker. What kind of strides did he make in this offseason? And tell me about some of the other key returners.
Well, Jelly's a guy, as you said, reigning Player of the Year, Conference Tournament Most Valuable Player, a guy that's on a number of preseason All-American lists, and justifiably so. He's now much more comfortable. He has an understanding of the expectations that we have. He has a much better feel for our system of play. And he's gotten stronger. Physically, he's added about 8 to 10 pounds of muscle. He's playing very, very tight with his game, making better decisions, and he's obviously a very dynamic playmaker. We also bring back a guy that's going into his third year in our program in Trey Jemison, a Birmingham native who transferred from Clemson. And when I initially got the job back in 2020, Trey's a guy that is a great leader for our team on and off the floor. We returned KJ Buffin from Ole Miss and Taven Levin. These are guys that started at times last year that have been in the program for a number of years. And then we brought in 6 newcomers, one high school kid from just up the road in Grissom High School in Huntsville, Alabama, and Efren Butta Johnson. Yeah, I said that right. He's going to be a kid that's got a great future in our program. Then we went back to the transfer portal where we added 5 dynamic pieces, a couple from the SEC, and Eric Gaines from LSU, and Javion Davis from Mississippi State, 2 brothers in Ladarius and Ty Brewer from East Tennessee State, 2 dynamic players that were all league at their former stops. And then a kid that's really been a sniper for us, been a pleasant surprise in his ability to knock down shots and play in pace, and Tyler Bertram from Binghamton. So we've got a number of guys that can help us. It's probably the most quality of depth that I've had in my 3 seasons here, and we're looking forward to putting all the pieces together.
You know, I was looking through your roster, and one of the notes I saw, you're the only school in the country to have 5 players who have scored over 1,000 points in their career on the same roster. What is that going to be like as a head coach, keeping all of those scorers happy?
Well, I look at it differently. Those scorers need to keep me happy. Isn't that the way it should work? We're gonna give them opportunity, but as I tell them every day, at the end of the day, no one wants to win more than the head coach. These W's and L's go on my name forever. So I assure you, the guys that get on the floor are the ones that are going to earn the trust, and they're going to do it by their daily play.
All right, so you're picked first in the preseason poll. High expectations for this year's team. Walk me through the schedule, starting with non-conference play.
We're anxious to get started. You know, our second game out of the gate, we're in the inaugural Barstool Invitational against a very good team, a team that won 26 games last year in Toledo. So we'll be tested really early out of the gate. We're in an MTE in Daytona where we play a team in South Florida who'll be a member institution of our next conference in the American Conference. If we have the opportunity to get through that, on the other side is Georgia from the SEC and St. Joe from the A-10. We've got South Carolina coming to Bartow Arena in mid-December. We've started the series back with one of our in-state rivals from back in the day in South Alabama. Excited about that. We go to West Virginia and have the opportunity to be a Big 12 opponent on the road early in the year. So we've got a number of challenges set up for us, hopefully to prepare us for what I believe is going to be a banner year in Conference USA basketball.
So many good teams, but you guys right now are slated at the top, looking to go back-to-back. Andy Kennedy, head men's basketball coach for UAB. Good luck this season.
Thank you, John.